Hayao Miyazaki has come out with his newest and final film, The Boy and the Heron. This is a huge movie because Hayao Miyazaki is one of the most respected animated and just directors of all time. Apparently he's ending out his career with one last movie, The Boy and the Heron. I'm going to keep this whole thing spoiler free, but if I do talk about spoilers, I'll give you a warning beforehand, so if you haven't seen it yet, don't worry. Starting off with the animation, it's just perfect. What did you expect? Ghibli is known for their absolutely phenomenal hand-drawn animation, and this movie is no different. It's incredible. It shows that hand-drawn animation should still be around. Disney was gonna make Wish hand-drawn, and then they didn't, and I think Ghibli kind of showed them up here because it looks about 1,000 times better than Wish, like just no question. Very similar animation style to some of his early work, like Totoro, just super bright colors and like watercolors in the background, and then just really vivid images in the foreground, and overall it just looks incredible. Actually, the opening scene is one of the most beautifully animated scenes I've ever witnessed. It's incredible. It's like 60 FPS. It's just beautiful. I feel like Ghibli has a knack with just animating the most random stuff that you wouldn't even think about. That makes the movie way better and way more real and immersive almost. I have a lot of that here. A bunch of simple scenes that most animation studios would be like, why would you put that in? It doesn't do anything. But they put it in and it just grows the overall story and gets you more connected to the characters. I love Miyazaki's style in that sense. He has a very weird pacing to his movies. If you've ever seen them, you know what I'm talking about, but it's great and in full effect here. There's the music, which if you've seen any Ghibli movie, you know. This is composed by Joe Hisaishi, like most Miyazaki's movies, which is great. He does an incredible score here. Manages to make something new while also having it sound very nostalgic almost. If you've seen movies like Spirited Away and Kiki's Delivery Service, it's a very similar score to those. It's traditional piano, which I love, and there were a couple scenes where it genuinely just made the scene, just the score alone. Now the story, a lot like Spirited Away. If you like Spirited Away, you're gonna like this movie. I don't know how you couldn't. It's such a simple story, but it's just done so well. All of the mystical elements are just incredible. It's really interesting the way that he plays with the tone of this movie. Some people might call it tonally inconsistent, but I feel like it's a creative choice to really show the difference between the two worlds. It works. This movie is brutal at points, and then just a couple scenes later they'll make a really like wacky and zany kind of joke, and it kind of like messes with you a bit, but I think that's the point, to really contrast the two different worlds that this movie takes place in. I'm going to talk about a little bit of spoilers here. This timestamp if you want to skip those. Very similar to the Spirit World, but it's way more vast, I feel like, than the Spirit World, where the Spirit World is basically just the one bathhouse. This is just, there's so much more widespread. Way that he has to stack like the marbles to keep it like afloat. I love the fact that like really early on you find out that the heron is lying and that Mahito's mom, I definitely said that really bad, so his mom is definitely not actually alive in there. So then the rest of the time you're not really thinking about that till you meet the young version of his mom. Love the fact that she is 100% content with dying only a little bit later, just so that she can raise her son. That's beautiful. That's really the whole point of this movie. How do you live when your loved ones are no longer living? And that is the choice that Mahito, I think I said it right at that time, has to make. Because he gets a choice. He can stay and take over the job of his grand uncle. Doesn't, because he realizes there's still a lot to live for, even though his mom won't be there to see it. His mom's proud of him, which is beautiful. I'm gonna be honest, I cried a little bit. And it just leads to this beautiful conclusion of him choosing, even though this world sucks a lot of the time, there's still so much to live for. And also the wara wara, those are the cutest thing ever. They're just like marshmallows. Like how does he keep coming up with these super random designs? Like it's basically just a Totoro, but it's like a marshmallow Totoro. And the dub, I know this is the one thing that Miyazaki didn't really work on, I don't think, unless he has conversations with them, but the dub it's insane. # Christian Bale, Mark Hamill, Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, Willem Dafoe. The names are incredible and all of them do a great job. Specifically, Mark Hamill, who's only in it for a little bit, but he's just incredible when he's in it. Luca, I don't know his last name, but he's the one who voices the main character, Mahito. He's incredible. Both of them carry the show. They're just great. Robert Pattinson as the Heron it's weird. I don't think I would have known it was him, but he did a pretty good job. So overall, is The Boy and the Heron Miyazaki's best movie? No. which is not saying that this movie is bad. When you look at some of Miyazaki's past films, you can see what I mean. I think Spirited Away is definitely better than this. Spirited Away is just kind of perfect. Like, it's hard to get much better than Spirited Away. Everything just works flawlessly. Whereas this, it can be a little bit slow at times, but that doesn't mean it's bad in any way. It's an incredible movie, super well thought out, and if it is Miyazaki's last film, I think it's a perfect way to go out for such a famous and renowned director. Creative, the visions